Let's talk about one of the most frustrating feelings in the world. You look at your bank account right after payday, and it feels like every single dollar is already gone. If you've ever thought that saving money is some kind of luxury you just can't afford, then stick around. We're about to break down a practical blueprint that can actually change that. Okay, this right here, this is the single most important idea we're going to talk about. It's a total game changer. The problem isn't usually the size of your paycheck. It's the fact that you don't have a system. See, it's not about how much you save. It's about that you save, over and over again. This one little mindset shift is where it all begins. So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to lock in that core mindset. Then, we'll dive into some super small daily actions you can take. After that, we'll look at a really simple monthly check-in. And finally, we'll get to the real reason why all of this is so incredibly important. So let's start by totally reframing the goal here. Saving, especially on a low income, isn't about depriving yourself. Not at all. It's about building a defense. It's about creating a solid financial floor under your feet so that one unexpected car repair doesn't send your whole world into a tailspin. And this really just says it all, doesn't it? It's not about the money itself. It's about the muscle memory. You're training yourself. Building the habit of putting money aside, no matter how tiny the amount, is the skill you need. It's the only way you'll be able to manage bigger sums of money later on, because the principle is exactly the same. Right. This is the big one, the question that really matters. It's easy for people to say just build the habit. But what does that actually look like when your budget is stretched so thin you can practically see through it? Well, let's get into the actual tactics. Okay, this brings us to what we're calling your daily defensive plays. And look, we're not talking about making huge, painful cuts to your life. We're talking about tiny, almost invisible moves that, over time, create real, tangible results. We've got two core plays in our playbook. First up is the invisible roundup, which is all about finding money you don't even notice is gone. And second is the substitution audit, a much smarter way to cut costs without feeling miserable. The psychology here is just fascinating. We all have this built-in alarm that goes off when we see a big chunk of money leave our account. It hurts, so we avoid it. But you know what doesn't hurt? Tiny little amounts, like a few cents. They just fly completely under our emotional radar. So imagine this. You take the bus and the fare is $3.40. Your bank automatically rounds that purchase up to an even $4 and just slides that extra 60 cents into a separate savings pot. You don't do a thing, you don't even see it happen. And then, a little later, you grab a coffee for $2.10. The bank does it again, rounds it up to $3, and bam, another 90 cents gets tucked away into your savings. Again, completely painless. You let this happen all month long with all your little daily purchases, and you look up, and all of a sudden, you have over $50. $50 that you literally did not feel yourself saving. This is your first win. This is how a habit actually starts to stick. Okay, let's go back to that coffee for a second. Most financial advice is just bad. It tells you to stop buying it. But that just makes you feel miserable, and then you end up doing what's called revenge spending later to make yourself feel better. A much better strategy is substitution. Don't eliminate the thing you enjoy, just find a smarter way to get it. Here is a perfect example. That $15 lunch special you get near work every day, just swap it for a $5 high-quality frozen meal. Or even better, something you brought from home. You're still eating, you're still getting a break, but you just found an extra $200 a month. I mean, think about that. That is genuinely life-changing money. So we've covered the daily plays. Now let's zoom out and talk about a super simple once-a-month sweep you can do to find cash that's just hiding in plain sight. First on the list is something called the windfall rule. This is for any extra money that happens to come your way. You know, a tax refund, a birthday check from your grandma, a little overtime pay. The trap is to see this as free money and just let it vanish. This rule gives you a much better way to handle it. And the rule is simple. 70% of that windfall goes directly to building up your savings, to strengthening that emergency floor. But the other 30%, that's yours. Go spend it, completely guilt-free on whatever you want. This way, you still get the thrill of having extra cash, but you're also systematically building up your financial defenses. All right, the second part of your monthly sweep is basically a search and destroy mission. Your target, ghost subscriptions. And the easiest way to find them is to scan your bank statement for any charge that ends in 99 cents. Because that one streaming service or app you totally forgot you were paying for, it isn't just $10 a month. When you look at it annually, it's almost $120. That could be a whole week's worth of groceries. So your mission is to find them and cancel them. If you really miss it, you can always sign up again later. And now we're at the final and honestly the most important part. We've talked a lot about the how, but none of it really matters if we don't understand the why. Why are we hunting for these dollars and cents? Because the goal isn't just a bigger number in your savings account. It's something much, much more valuable. I absolutely love this analogy. Think of every single dollar you manage to save as a little soldier. It's not just sitting there. It's an active asset that goes out into the world and fights for you. And what is its number one mission? To buy you time. Your first $500 isn't just money. It's the freedom to not have a full-blown panic attack if your boss cuts your hours. It's a shield. It's breathing room. It is time. And your first $1,000? That buys you something even more powerful. The time to look for a better job without the crushing weight of desperation. It lets you make choices from a place of security, not a place of fear. And that is how you break the cycle. So here's the crucial takeaway. The moment you start creating a surplus, I don't care if it's just $5 a week, your identity shifts. You are no longer just a victim of your circumstances. You are an investor. You are actively, consciously building a better future for yourself. And that's where we'll leave it. The biggest lesson here is that building wealth doesn't start with a giant salary. It starts with creating a surplus through small, consistent habits. So I want you to think about this. What's one small win you've had with your money recently? Because every big victory always starts with a small one.